Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and today Dead by Daylight put out their February developer update. They tweeted about it here with this post. The February developer update is here. Tweaks for 7 killers, the Mangled status effect, and blood web quality of life changes. So they have links here to the Reddit and the forums where you can read all about this blog post, and we'll do that now. These changes here are proposed and they'll be tested tomorrow, Tuesday, February 20th, in the public test build for Steam users. And then these changes will most likely go live in 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's going to be 3 weeks from tomorrow. So let's go ahead and go over to the forums. Reddit gives me a rash sometimes. So we're going to go over to the forums and read about these changes here. Developer update February 2024. Okie dokie. It's time for another developer update. In this spot, we'll cover all the balance changes and improvements making their way to the game in the next major update. Killer tweaks. For this update, we've given a few killers in our roster both quality of life and balance improvements. We've identified a handful of killers that could use some small base kit improvements to help reduce their dependency on certain add-ons. That's a lot to go through, so we'll do our best to keep them brief. The Pig. In a shocking turn of events, we've decided to buff the Pig. More specifically, we've made improvements to both the Pig's ambush and crouch abilities. The goal with these changes is to make her ambush and stealth abilities more useful and to make her less reliant on reverse bear traps. Ambush. Increase the ambush duration to 2.3 seconds, up from 2 seconds. Decreased the successful attack cooldown to 2.7 seconds, down from 3 seconds. And decrease the ambush missed attack cooldown to 1.5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. Crouching. Increase crouch movement speed to 3.8 meters per second, up from 3.6, and decrease time taken to crouch to 1 second, down from 1.3 seconds. So she won't be super slow moving across the map when crouched, like she was. I mean, she's still going to be slower than survivors, but she won't be as slow as she was before. Reverse bear traps. The Pig can no longer see the auras of jigsaw boxes. Reverse bear traps now have a base timer of 3 minutes. That's up from 2.5 minutes. The Pig can now cover 15% more ground with her ambush attack, making it harder for survivors to break away from the loop. We've also made the missed attacks less punishing to encourage using ambush more often, and updated her successful attack cooldown to match the normal basic attack cooldown. Improving her crouch makes it quicker and easier to set up for an ambush and allows her to spend less time sneaking up on unsuspecting survivors. A handful of add-ons that decreased her missed attack cooldown or decreased her crouch time have had their effects reduced to compensate, as the effects are now part of her base kit. That's interesting that they would increase the base timer on the traps, though. That seems like that would make them much less deadly. So, we'll have to see how that works out. The Hag. The Hag's most popular add-ons decrease the setting time of her phantasm traps and increase the distance at which they can be teleported to. So with that in mind, we have increased the maximum teleport distance to 48 meters, up from 40 meters, and decreased the Phantasm Trap setting time to 0.9 of a second instead of a full second. And additionally, the increased time triggered Phantasm Traps remain active up to 6 seconds instead of 5, so you have longer time to react and teleport to a trap. And increased the time taken away to wipe away a Phantasm Trap to 4 seconds instead of 3.5, so it takes longer time to erase her traps. These adjustments will make it easier to set and teleport to traps, reducing the reliance on add-ons that improve these aspects. The increased duration will also give her more time to respond and get in range when a trap is triggered. Meanwhile, survivors will have to spend a little longer to wipe away a trap, making it more difficult to do during a chase. As for triggering traps, the Hag had some add-ons which increased their trigger range. In practice, this would be counterproductive since it would position the survivors further away from the trap, making them more difficult to hit after teleporting. So we have decreased the base trap trigger range to 2.7 meters instead of 3, and the Bog Water, Bloodied Water, and Bloodied Mud add-ons, which previously increased the trap trigger range, have had their effects inverted, and now decrease the trap trigger range. I see. So instead of having them trigger from further away from the trap, you have to be closer to the trap to trigger it, so that when you teleport to it, you'll be much closer to the hag. Like the pig, the effects of some add-ons have been toned down now that part of their effects are always active. The clown. Between the two bottles, the clown's Afterpiece tonic is the clear favorite for most players. We want to show some love to the Afterpiece antidote and make it a more compelling option, so we have increased the Afterpiece antidote speed boost duration to 6 seconds, up from 5 seconds, and decreased the Afterpiece antidote activation time to 2 seconds, was 2.5 seconds. Yeah, there'd be times where I would throw the yellow bottles, and then I'm like through the cloud before like anything would happen for me there. So I do like the idea of being able to use those for traversing the map quickly. Sometimes I'll just run yellow bottles the whole time, and I won't even use any of the pinks. Additionally, we have increased the base bottle carrying capacity to 6, up from 4. Well, you can still really stack that if you put the add-ons, right? You can get that up to 9, I think, if you wanted to add more bottles. Decrease the visual intensity of the Afterpiece tonic effects to reduce motion sickness. That's one thing that I really don't like playing about Clown, is I can't see when I'm under effect of the Afterpiece tonic. So I'm glad that they would reduce the VFX on that, perhaps. This will allow the clown to clown around the map more easily and make the Afterpiece antidote feel less awkward to use. The increased capacity will allow him to keep up the chase for longer before needing to reload. Yeah, if you can really stack a few extra bottles, use a bottle or two to traverse the map, and then not have to feel like you have hindered yourself with the amount of bottles you have, you could definitely consider using a couple of bottles to traverse the map and still feel comfortable with the amount of ammo you have going forward. The doctor, let's hear all about this. The doctor, his practices may call his PhD into question, but he's been honing his craft. We have made the following adjustments to the doctor's shock therapy. Increased shock therapy range to 12 meters, nice, up from 10.7 meters, and decreased the shock therapy detonation delay to 0.8 of a second instead of a full second. I like it. These changes will make his shock therapy attack feel more responsive and allow it to reach slightly further. Once again, the add-ons, which provide similar effects, have been toned down to take this base kit increase into account. I'm interested to see how that works, because a lot of times I feel like I shock people in time and then they still vault over a pallet or through a window, and I'm like, they're screaming, how are they doing that? So maybe that will reduce those cases where I feel like I shocked them but they still did stuff. The Demogorgon, a short and sweet one for everyone's favorite upside-down killer. Decrease the successful shred attack cooldown to 2.7 seconds, down from 3 seconds. This change brings the Demogorgon shred attack back in line with the modern standard basic attack cooldown. The Barb's Glasses and Blackheart add-ons have been adjusted to compensate now that part of their effects have been incorporated into the base kit. That makes sense. The Huntress. Out of hatchets with no locker in sight? Or maybe the entity sent you to a map with poor line of sight, making it difficult to line up a shot? To help her stay topped up and give her opportunities to attack in busier areas, we made the following changes. Increase the base hatchet capacity to 7, up from 5. Wow! Increased movement speed while holding a hatchet to 3.54 meters per second, was 3.08 meters per second. Interesting. A lot of those times in those small, tight boulders, we try to keep the boulder between you and the Huntress, and she just doesn't have the movement speed to move around and get an angle on you, and she winds up having to put the hatchet away. Maybe no more of that. We'll have to see. Increase the Huntress wind-up speed by 10%. The Mana Braid and Flower Babushka add-ons, which increase the hatchet wind-up speed, have had their effects reduced slightly to compensate because they're making it be part of her base kit. That makes sense. Very interesting. So you could get what? Her hatchets up to 10 now if you stack this with the add-ons that allow you to bring extra hatchets. Wow! Gonna have to do a lot of dodging. The Blight. Lastly, we wanted to fine-tune a Blight add-on which was changed in one of our recent updates, Compound 33. Compound 33 now limits the Blight's rushes to 3. It was 2, so they've given him 1 more rush with that one. Mangled. Yeah, they said they were going to do something about this status effect. Let's read this. Mangled currently provides a lot of value throughout the match by slowing down survivor healing. At the moment, there's no way for survivors to remove the Mangled effect other than healing through it. We want to make this status effect more interesting and introduce some risk and reward to it. The Mangled status effect will now have a limited time duration, with the exact duration depending on the source and ranging between 60 and 90 seconds. So kind of like when you are broken for a short period of time and then that wears off. Mangled could also wear off if you kept that status effect for a while. This maintains Mangled's effectiveness at slowing down healing while forcing survivors to make a choice. Do they spend more time to heal now or risk staying injured until the effect expires? That's interesting. Gonna have to make decisions about what the best strategy is in those scenarios. Blood Web improvement. In a previous update, we added the ability to automatically spend blood points to the Blood Web to ensure that newer players took the time to familiarize themselves with the items in their Blood Web. This button was originally hidden until the selected character had been prestiged at least once. Since this feature was added, we've received many requests to show this button on other characters before they are prestiged, so we're doing just that. The automatic purchase option will now appear in all characters' Blood Webs once any character has been prestiged once. Spend away. Yeah, it would always be tiresome when you got a brand new character that you'd have to slowly spend through the Blood Webs compared to just doing the one click on all of your others. So as long as you have prestiged someone before, you will have the ability to quick spend on any new characters. We've reached the end of this developer update, and as always, you can get your hands on every change we've discussed in the public test build starting this week. I believe it's tomorrow. I think the roadmap says it's tomorrow, Tuesday, right? We'd love to hear what you think once you've had a chance to try them out. Until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. All right, well, there you have it. What do you think about these killer changes? Are there any of them that you absolutely hate? Are there any of them that you are excited about? The pig trap might be the most questionable one for me because it seems like it makes her traps much less lethal. But what do you think? You no longer see the aura of jigsaw boxes, so that would also like make it hard for you to drive people away from them. I think those two things together make the jigsaw boxes much less lethal. What do you think about all this? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. Don't forget to like, comment, so I can read all of your ideas, and subscribe. It helps the channel a ton. Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog. And we'll see you next time. I'll be streaming the public test build tomorrow, assuming that it is tomorrow. Whenever it's live, I'll be streaming it here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. And I know some of you had questions about how to access the PTB. I have instructions for that on my Twitch, and I can help walk you through that so you can participate as well if you so desire. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.